Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I'm using again this Blended Seasons stamp set, and it's a two box stamp set that has this lovely flower on it, this little wheat shaft, leaves, holly, so it's really blended seasons. I guess that really explains it. And today I'm using Wishing You All the Best, and I'm using the leaves here on this. And then if you buy it as a bundle, and this is only available in the month of August as a bundle, and then it will go away. And it's a wonderful thing to have in your stash. Stitched Seasons framelit dies, and I'm using the leaf die from this die set. And if you order the two of these together, you save 10%. And again, it's a limited time offer through the month of August, so you've got a little bit left, about half of the month. And I am absolutely in love with this set. It does so many things. And today I used kind of non-traditional colors to do my leaf pattern here. I did use green. I used Old Olive, and then I used Melon Mambo, Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie. I used Highland Heather. So some of those aren't normal things you'd see in fall colors, but I really love the way it came out. And really, it's a very simple card. I embossed some leaves on the inside for the interior decoration, and there's just not much to it at all. So let's just get started. And let me tell you what you need to do to make this card. I used a very vanilla base, 8.5 by 5.5 scored, and we're going to fold it at 4 1/4. And so there we go, folded at 4 1/4. And then I used a piece of watercolor paper, and this watercolor paper is cut 4 by 5 1/4. And then to back this, I used a piece of Cajun Craze, and this Cajun Craze is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that is it. That's all it takes to do this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a little piece of scratch paper here, because this watercoloring can get a little on the messy side here. And so what I'm going to do is work on my watercolor panel here and get some of my stamping done. So I have my VersaMark here, and I have my embossing buddy. So the first thing I'm going to do is cover my card here, my watercolor paper, with my embossing buddy to make this a little easier so that the powder doesn't go where you don't want it to. I'm also going to go ahead and use my embossing buddy on the inside of the card so that we can stamp our leaves as long as we're at it. Okay, now I have my leaves here mounted, and I'm just going to ink this up with my VersaMark, and I'm going to put my leaves at the top here. And then I'm going to put my leaves at the bottom. I'm going to wipe off this last leaf the best I can. And even at that, I'm sure I'll get a little image, but I can erase it, and I'm not going to put my sentiment on until I emboss the leaves. I'm going to emboss these leaves down here at the bottom. There we go. And it doesn't look like I got any of that leaf, but I guess we'll have to wait until we see what happens with the embossing powder to see exactly what happened. So I'm going to put my powder on this piece. And get my leaves on the bottom here. Okay, so you'll notice that I still got this leaf on here even though I wiped it off. So I'm just going to wipe that off and just emboss the leaves that I want to on there. And I'm going to use my eraser to take a little bit of that VersaMark off of that paper. And all right, now I will quiet the video while I emboss this piece, and I will be right back. Okay, there we have that much of the embossing done. Now I'm going to add my sentiment, and this time I'm going to go back over this with my embossing buddy and ink up my sentiment, which is again, wishing you all the best, and putting that right in here. Okay, now cover that with embossing powder off camera here. And there we have wishing you all the best. And I will again quiet the video while I emboss this part. Okay, there we go. So now we have our pieces embossed, and I'll move the stamps and the ink out of the way. And next thing I'm going to do is do a little bit of the watercoloring. And so I've got a water brush here, and I've got my my little dry wipe here so that I can clean my brush and have that brush be pretty dry, because it's easy to go outside the lines here. And so let me get my ink opened up here. And I don't know that pink and purple are traditional colors for fall, but it appealed to me and makes this just a little bit different, which I kind of liked. This one might need a little bit more in the lid. Yep, it does. And then the Highland Heather. And I might put a little bit more in that lid as well. There we go. All right. So there we have my colors. And I'm going to drop just a drop of water or two in each one of these and get them started. And what I'm going to do is just add, first of all, a little of the green, in this case the old olive, to almost all of the leaves. Because you know there's that time in the fall when the leaves start to turn and some of them still have a little bit of the green tinge to them. And I think that makes this look very realistic. So I'm going to dry my brush again and see if I can't pick up some more of that green. I'm going to try and do these stems. And with this part, you need to just be real careful, go with a light hand and pretty much a dry brush, because it's real easy, even though the embossing is there to sort of contain the water, it's real easy to go outside the lines on this. And I really didn't want that to happen. So I'm just adding a little touch of green in some of the places, and I want that to be a little bit darker. Watercoloring with inks is a very satisfying kind of thing, because it's actually pretty easy. Again, let me dry off my brush a little bit, pick up some more of that green, and again, if you go a little bit with a light hand, it's pretty hard to not get the effect that you're looking for. And what I was hoping to do is, some of these colors came out awfully pale on this one, and so I was hoping to have these colors be a little bit more vibrant. And so let's see if I can't accomplish that. There we go. I think that is all of the green I want on this. So now I'm going to wash off my brush a little bit here and see if I can start picking up a few of these other colors. All right, so I'm going to start with the Melon Mambo here. And see if I can't paint in a little of that color. I'd love to find a leaf that looked like that. I know it feels a little bit early for fall, but I wanted to demonstrate more that you could do with this kit. And I just love making fall cards. So all right, now I think I'll make one of these up here, a little bit of the Melon Mambo. There's something about offsetting some of these colors with the gold that makes them more believable. And you know how the frost kind of tinges just the edges of a leaf. I thought we could get some very interesting looks by doing this. You'll have to let me know whether you enjoy the coloring aspect of doing this, or whether you find it more tedious. I find that it's actually quite relaxing if I have a good amount of time. You know, I think that's enough of that one. I'm going to now switch to the purple, the Highland Heather. And so this ends up being not exactly your traditional colors for fall. But the idea of it just appealed to me. And I saw, I'm sure it was a touched up photo on Pinterest of a bunch of leaves that had the pinks and the purples in them. And I thought it was just so pretty. Very different. And so I thought I would try my hand at adding these non-traditional colors. I'm not sure I've ever seen a leaf that's got that many colors in it, but it kind of appealed to me. I am not going to color the ones on the inside of the card. I thought I did a couple of different takes on that. Tried doing one where I did it, and I just didn't like the way it looked. So I'm leaving the inside pretty simple. It's very interesting having both of the Stampin' Up! Ink pads and working with two different styles. And I'll have to say, this new style, which I wasn't at all sure about, I really do like. So that's all working out pretty well. So clean up my brush here and move that off to the side, and we are ready to put this card together. So I'm going to move this from here. Now what I did was ahead of time and off camera, I did make my little die cuts of the leaves, and here's my gold leaf, and what I'm going to do is put just a little bit of Tombow on the back of this leaf to secure it in place. And I think I want this little leaf right in here to fill this out. And I thought about putting one on the inside, and I didn't like the way that looked either. So I decided the simple one leaf here, die cut, was really all I wanted to do on this card. And this card is not raised. The only dimension is the little leaf on the front. So what I'm going to just do is add some snail on the back of the, just get the glue off of there, and add some snail to the back of my watercolor paper here. Get my, been experimenting with tape runners and trying some different things that are out there. I really do like the Stampin' Up! One, just the best. Okay, so here we go, and this is going to get centered on this card, and it's going to leave us ever so tiny a little border around the edge of the card, so it picks up the Cajun Craze in the color of the leaves. Let's see. There we go. That's more like it. All right. And there we go. And then bring back my card base where we've already got our embossing done. And I'm just going to put some snail down on this and mount this on my card, and that will be the project. I've been offline for the week had some things interfere, so I'll be doing some catching up on videos here over the next several days this week, because I want to do a holiday one, a Christmas one, with this same stamp set. So there we are. And you'll have to tell me what you think, whether you like the more vibrant colors or the more pale colors. I have to say I like both of them for different reasons. But that is the project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with me on my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. Joining now is a good time because your first quarter isn't over until year end, which makes making your first minimum, that's the only requirement to maintaining your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator designation, and that is to meet the quarterly minimum, which is $300, either to purchase or to sell. And I help all of those people who are on my team get that minimum covered. We have all kinds of strategies to help people do that. And a lot of people just do it just because they're going to order the stuff anyway and they want the discounts, and that's fine as well. But this stamp set, again, is the Blended Seasons, the 2-box set of the Blended Seasons. And today we used this one, and wishing you all the best. And last week I did one where we did white embossing, and we colored these in with blends and colored pencils, and it's a beautiful, beautiful stamp set. And then the dies that come with the Stitch Seasons Framelit dies. And that's it for me. Let's see, the prize draw for the month is the Tropical Chic bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies. And all you have to do to qualify to be in the drawing is to place an order with me, and that can be done at my site, www.albedinger.stampinup.net. So that's it for me. I will be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye.